I needed emails. Like the whole business was about how big is your email list, because that's where 90% of your deals got sold. I went to the sales rep that worked the Papa John's account, and I said to her, I said, hey, I think we need a good program with Papa John's if just get me in front of the person. So she did, right? And so we basically said to them like, hey, you guys have just launched the new papajohns.com, and you probably want registrations. We're willing to put together a big promotion because we want registrations for our deal site, and we'd love to give away pizzas. So come the day of the promotion, by 1 p.m., we had given away 60,000 pizzas. And I called her and I said, hey, aren't you excited? This is great, right? And there's this pause. And she was like, oh my God.
Let's kind of break this up in a couple quadrants then. Let's talk about, really kind of generating leads. And we were kind of in the pre-show. I always look at, and especially at some of your past jobs, as the CRO, what have you seen work in order to generate more conversations or more leads because I always like on the show to kind of, here's a story of how I generated leads. And then I want the listeners to kind of say, well, here's a couple little carrots, or here's a little bit of silver that I can kind of scratch off this story, and then for my own silver bullet for myself.
So I've got a great story here, Jason. So a long time ago, I was at the Washington Post, and it was gosh, I don't want to tell you how long ago, but let's frame it by Groupon and Living Social were just taking off, right? And the Post,
long time ago.
Yeah, you're talking a while ago. And so the Post basically said to me, hey, this is a business that a newspaper company should own, because we're a local resource. We have all the local merchants, and so we built out a platform, and probably, I don't know, probably 6 to 9 months in, you start to realize like, oh my God, like you're competing against Groupon and Living Social, and these guys are huge, and we're only in one market. So how do we actually compete? And so, I thought long and hard about like, what are the assets I have? And clearly the big one was like, I had the Washington Post, right? I had that brand and that distribution in our market, and it was pretty much unmatched at the time. But what I needed emails. Like the whole business was about how big is your email list, because that's where 90% of your deals got sold. And so I said, all right, I got to get a big email list. And so I went to the sales rep that worked the Papa John's account, and I said to her, I said, hey, I think we need to do a good program with Papa John's if just get me in front of the person. So she did, right? Because Papa John talks to the Washington Post, so I was sort of leveraging my asset there, and so we basically said to them like, hey, you guys have just launched the new papajohns.com, again a while ago, but and you probably want registrations. We're willing to put together a big promotion because we want registrations for our deal site, and we'd love to give away pizzas. And I said, how about we give away like, a small pizza? They'll still have to pay for delivery, so you can sort of like, minimize your cost. And we'll put together a big media package. She got really excited. She said, well, I don't know, if I do this, I want this to be kind of big, right? And she said, well, forget small pizza. We'll pay delivery, make it a beating pizza, put together a package. And so we did. I went back and I put together a pretty aggressive package because I really wanted this to work. She signed it in 1 hour, and so we're going and we're sort of planning out, and I'm negotiating internally at the Post for how much I can give away, in terms of promotion. And about a week before, she comes back and she says, "We got a problem. The coupon codes that we would use are only set for a large one-topping pizza. So can you change all of your creative to be a large one-topping pizza?" And I said, yeah, no problem. Like we'll give away a bigger pizza with a topping on it. And so we gave him a little more promotion for that. And so, I don't know, about a day or two before, I said to her, hey, is there a number too big, right? Because we have pretty big distribution with the Washington Post, and we were putting together a really big program, including the second ever ad on the front page of the Washington Post. And she says to me, well, no, like I want all the registrations on papajohns.com. And I said, great. I said, well, let me give you a number that I can't hit. what if I told you I was going to give away 500,000 pizzas? And there's a bit of a pause on the phone. She said, well, I almost drove off the road, but then I thought about all those registrations and I would love it. And I said, great. Like there's no number I can hit that's too big. So come the day of the promotion, the site went down at about 9:30 in the morning. We had a backup solution and we flipped over to that. And so by 1 p.m., we had given away 60,000 pizzas. And I called her and I said, hey, aren't you excited? This is great, right? And she said, what are you talking about? And I said, well, you can see on the site, like we've given away 60,000 pizzas. And there's this pause. And she was like, oh my God. And like then she was like, I have to go talk to somebody. And I was like, what? And it turned into this big thing where they were afraid they wouldn't be able to fulfill. And by the end, we had given away over 100,000 Papa John's pizzas. We had restricted it to the DMV, but it had gotten so much social promotion that people in Florida were trying to claim pizzas through the promotion on the Washington Post website. And in the end, it turned out to be a great promotion. We doubled our email list overnight. Papa John's ended up, even though they freaked out at first, when the promotion was all done, they said it was their best promotion they'd ever done in terms of size and how much they got out of it. And so anyway, the point here is this. Everybody talked about like, oh, it's a gimmick. Well, it really was, I thought really long and hard about what are the assets I had and what dimensions do I need to compete on? So I needed emails, right? Because emails were going to be sustainable for my business going forward. And I had something that the big guys didn't, which is a well-established brand that had a huge distribution in the market. And that that then turned into what so like it feels gimmicky, but it was actually like really like it was core to what we were doing. And that's just what I'd say is like the more you can think about like what's core to what you need to do, like what are the assets you have and what dimension do you need to be on, and then maniacally focus on that and avoid sort of like all the other little stuff that people say, well, you can do this, and it's sort of like that's a big distraction, right?
Well, I like that you guys were focused on getting the email, right? And a lot of agency owners are not, or they're trying to get too much at once. Like, for example, we just got off a mastermind call not too long ago, and we had an expert come in and we are talking about conversions, conversions on leads and how do we increase those? Because look, if you're getting 1,000 people to your website and you're converting at 1%, well, what if we can take it up to 10%? And like, why would you not want to have email address? Who cares about your followers? Because that's on Reddit borrowed land that can anytime they can take away your view and build a huge hotel right in front of you. But at least on the email address, you can kind of control it a little more, where you have the right, like someone's giving you permission to send them information. And then it's your job to provide the right information to build the brand, to get them excited, and then eventually have them raise their hand saying, hey, I want to chat with you. And I see too many agency owners, they're not focused on that. They're focused on how can I sell you right now?
Mm-hmm.
And they have this huge form rather than let me just get your email address of going, hey, I just want to know you're this type of lead. Perfect. Okay. Now I can kind of warm you up, over time. Other thing I've seen, talking about, being, resourceful, because a lot of agency owners just want to generate more leads. I mean, right? You get more leads and then you can make more sales and then you grow. One thing I was thinking about, why do people, and some people use direct mail, which is okay, but like I get a bunch of spam, I just throw it out. But what if you sent a FedEx envelope with a crafty letter? So if I was trying to sell Clutch for a sponsorship, why wouldn't I draft a custom letter going, Clutch, you guys are a great marketplace for agencies. I have your audience. And then maybe what if I sent like a candy of a foot and said, I just was trying to get my foot in the door?
I get a ton of salespeople reaching out to me. I've often wondered. Those are two things I would if somebody sent a FedEx, I would open it. Who knows what my response would be, but I would open it hands down, like every single time. And then something like that, I would say like the one time a sales rep got me on something that I was like, I know I'm just being gotten, but like it was during the pandemic and they did one of those virtual like wine tastings. I was like, you know what? Like I like wine and this is like kind of a cool thing that I want to experience. So yeah, the standing out is great, but the converting it into something that you can then follow through on is crucial. In every role I've ever been in, email has been the the number one way that we've sort of generated leads. And so building that email list is the number one thing we could do.
I hope you enjoyed this content. If you want more content like this, make sure you click on the link on the screen or check out your most popular podcast platform where the full episode is there. And until next time, have a swank day. What are you doing? Go check it out. Click on the link. I'll see you soon.